Hello everybody and welcome to the Oracle system and more precisely to the J.D. Edwards planet. In this video we intend to show you two tools that allows JDE to enter the modern world of the ERP. These tools, Oracle OJET on one side and Orchestrator on the other side, are different, but they nicely complete each other. Please note that we will not present any technical aspect here, but instead we will show that these tools are a very interesting contribution to the business. To do so, we will demo some important features thanks to an app that we developed for one of our customers. Immediately, and to put it as a baseline, I would suggest that the ERP must be operating people inclusive. So, before we play with the app, I would like to tell you more about what's behind the scene, as it will help you understand what's at stake. On the left side of your screen, you can see a tablet device and the Oracle OJET app. On the right side are the JDE database and the JDE programs. What relationship can we get between these two entities? Let's get now a first basic approach on Oracle OJET. It is an application layer that will, among others, allow us to build this kind of touch screen. A best practice here is to use a components library provided by Oracle and called the cookbook. This cookbook gives a vast array of elements like grids, pop-up menus, filters, choice lists, and so on. Orchestrator, on its side, is a tool that will allow us to record and store a request or an action that is done in JDE with an interactive program. In other words, it is a kind of macro, and we then create a robot that will afterwards be embedded in the Oracle OJET code, allowing the app to redo what has been initially recorded. It is not the purpose of this video to detail the Orchestrator implementation, but you can just bear in mind that in the most recent versions of JDE, you have access to the process recorder that generates this kind of macro. We are almost finished with this first part. It is necessary to tell you that the capability of Oracle OJET goes beyond nice ergonomic screens, which is already a very good point. Oracle OJET also allows us to develop a full app that can communicate with the JDE database. Typically, you can add in the app screen data that will not be managed by the JDE standard program you based your orchestration on, or you could update a data that the standard program does not consider otherwise. So let's start with a demo that will allow me to show you some interesting topics. First of all, here on the left of your screen, you have the Oracle OJET app we developed for one of our customers. One important thing here is that we log in with the JDE user, meaning the access and security process is the one of JDE. We don't have to recreate a list of users and to reinvent a user management function. So we get now to the home page. It can be fully customized. It's the case here with a modeling of the production lines. But it is also possible to build a home page by using one or several components from the Oracle JET cookbook. So let's go now to the operations menu. For this, we have to select a machine we are working on, and we go to operations. We set up a translation layer that will turn on according to the JDE user language. Once again, the app operates according to JDE data. Only the French wordings have been entered for now in the app, but I will translate for you if necessary. The operations menu is at the heart of this particular app example. It shows the list of the work order that must be processed at this workshop level. This is based on several criteria, and as we don't see them in the app, I will now open the JDE equivalent. And what you see here is the database, the reference for the data. You see that in JDE you have 5 work orders that have to be processed according to some criteria, like the status. They only want to see the work order status that are in 30 at a particular date. And you have also other criteria, like, of course, the branch plant and category codes that determines the work orders they are interested in. Those criteria, they have been recorded, stored when we went through a process recording with Orchestrator, and it's embedded in the Oracle JET code and in the app. So as you can see here, we don't have to write down all these criteria. They are automatically considered, and you only have here the list of work orders that concern the people who are working on line 1 and on this particular machine. I don't want to go through all these example features, but I will show you a few elements that illustrate some possibilities we have with these tools. For instance, you can select a work order in this list. By the way, this list is a component of the Oracle cookbook. We created nothing, but do, of course, the mapping afterwards with the JDE data. So you can select a work order and, for instance, go to check the list of the components of this particular work order. So here we are in a factory in the food industry. They manufacture syrup. So you have passion fruit, for Czechia, Ukraine, and so on. And here you have the part list, and it's the work order, the JDE work order part list with the syrup in itself, the glass bottle, the caps, the stickers, and so on. Maybe a more illustrative function is the time entry screen we developed for our customer. I will first do an action and then we will come back to the explanation. I want to select a work order. I will select this one. So it's passion fruit for France, Great Britain, Germany, and Netherlands. So number 345373. And I will go to the time entry function either by the menu. I can click here, or I can also do a swipe and I get the different reason code I can select. And we will, for instance, start by a machine setting. Let's imagine we first have to do a machine setting, so it's réglage in French. So you see that machine setting is now selected, and I will update. On the right part of the screen, I have the JDE screen, time entry screen, on the same work order. passion for France, Great Britain, Germany, and Netherlands. I will refresh the screen to check whether we got a new information, and we got it. You see that at 12:37 I only have the beginning time, I don't have yet the end time, but I started a machine setting, so réglage in French. Here we use a standard JDE data, the reason code. Okay, so for those who know the time entry screen in JDE, you know that it is not the most user-friendly tool you would dream of at the operational ground level. We have been quite challenged for this one. Our customer setting up a contest with the MES apps from the shell. The result I show you now allow us to see what we can achieve for this kind of needs, and also the real-time aspect of the Oracle OJET layer. Let's imagine now that we ended the machine setting and we start the production. So I come back to the app and I click on the production function, and I immediately go to JDE, time entry screen, and I check that I have an update. The machine setting sequence that started at 12:37 ended at 12:39, and precisely at 12:39 we started a production. And then life will go on, and you see that we have a different possibility here as far as the time nature is concerned, and I will precise more information right now about this time nature. There are a few best practices that shall be considered to get an app that will be sustainable. I just want to illustrate one of them, the attempts to create dynamic menus based on JDE data so that the business can easily adapt the menus to its changing needs. Two examples here. First, the time reason code that are proposed in the time entry page of the app here on the left side of the screen. These reason codes are based on a JDE data that is fully accessible for the business, as it is simply the description 2 of the reason code UDC table here on the 31 RC UDC table. So you see, you've got on the app the production time, machine settings, so réglage, broken glass, CAS, technical problem, and so on. These are the reason code, JDE reason code in the 31 RC UDC table that have a description 2 equals to factory. Another example is the modeling of the production line. You probably noticed that on the app screen you have the modeling of the production line, of each production line. Here it's the line number 1 with 4 machines. Well, this modeling simply comes from a routing that we created in JDE, and you see you have here the 4 different machines, and the Oracle OJET code read this routing, and it's dynamic, meaning if you change the number or the name of a machine, it will of course immediately update in the app. So, as a conclusion, let's try to see what comes out of this experience, and let's come back to our initial question. What benefits can the business get from these tools? User-friendly touchscreens, which is already a good thing, but we really have to realize how powerful it is that this gain be based on the ERP data, meaning there is no need to manage an additional database and to create interfaces. It's also based on the ERP data model. So no need to create or to learn a new data model. And last but not least, it is based on the ERP functions and processes. No need to reinvent the management processes, which provides the business the best chance to preserve the integration of those processes, especially as in most of the cases we've been working on, the Oracle JET app deals with a part of a process. For instance, the time entry we saw a few minutes ago occurs on a work order that has previously been created in JDE, maybe from a MRP message. And later on, this same work order will go through the usual JDE manufacturing accounting. So, as a last word, these technological layers give a better access to the information system while preserving the integration. Well, that's all for now. So, thank you and bye-bye.